Hey, welcome back to our film race series. I'm Karen.
I'm Brian.
And today we're going to talk about crew size. With all the things that happened in 2020 and 2021, we ended up keeping our crews a lot smaller than we usually do, which kind of got us thinking about what it was like years ago when we had a lot bigger crews. And now that it's 2022 and things have changed, we have to determine, do we want to keep the smaller crew? Do we want to go back to our bigger crews? So that's something that we have to consider ourselves as we go into film race season here. With a larger crew, when you have to change locations, it's like getting a train moving. You have to work so hard to get everyone up to speed and to get them out the door and to get them to the next location. It's just a ton of effort. So when you're building your crew, you really want to make sure that it's worth it. If you want a bigger crew, make sure that it's worth it to you.
Something that happens too with crew sizes is you might have your core crew, but then it always seems to happen where there's new people you've met that are dying to jump on board. And that's fine. We try and limit that to one or two totally new people. If we do plug in new people, they have a very specific role that we need.
Everyone's a volunteer, and so when we have these people giving up their time with their families or giving up just time they could be doing something else, sometimes even taking off of work, we just really want to make sure that they're utilized and that they're valued and appreciated. When you're planning out your crew, you want to look at what roles you really need. What are the things you're going to need no matter what type of film you make? You're going to need a director, you're going to need a cinematographer, those might be the same role, a writer, you're going to need producer, sound, editor. You also want to take into consideration that you may have something in mind going into the weekend, we know we're going to do a period piece. And so if you know you're going to do something like that, probably production designer or a costumer are going to be important roles that you want to make sure that you have. You don't want to just pass the camera around and you shoot this shot, you shoot this shot, you shoot this shot, unless that's a specific style you're going for.
On life lessons, for instance, we knew we were going to be using horses. So we had a couple people dedicated to wrangling the horses, keeping an eye on the horses, not just the owner of the horses, but also other crew to make sure that they were in the shade when it was not filming time, they were on set when it was time to use the horses, and not on set when it wasn't. You might write that story and have those people hey, I'm going to plug you in here, you can learn this skill real quick or fill this role and this is your job.
Check in with each of your crew members and make sure that whatever role you're putting them in, that they're okay doing that. If I was going to be joining a crew for the weekend and didn't know what role I was going to be doing, but I'm just gung-ho to be there, and they said, okay, you're going to be helping to wrangle horses, I'd be like, nope, I'm not doing that. There can just be a lot of limitations you're not even aware of, so it's really important to check in with your crew and your cast as well before you have them do anything.
Welcome to the neighborhood. We had a giant 12x silk to provide better lighting for our actors, and it was a really windy day and those things become kites. So on that day we actually had one of our crew members laying on the silk as a human sandbag, and it didn't blow away, and he just kind of chilled up there, and it was great.
He was totally fine with that was his role for the day.
Right. Through the day, it was such a solid silk up there. We're oh, right. Hey, do you need some water? Oh, I'm good. And sometimes having a bigger crew will let you get shots that you wouldn't have time to otherwise. On Denouement, I had Doug Henderson well before we needed the scene to be filmed. He walked around in the woods with our jib, which has a stand and a weight and the jib itself. And he had it set ready to go for the shot, which really makes that scene worth it. So it was a bit of a pain for Doug, just trucking that all out there, but we were able to finish shooting, walk out there with just the camera, hook it up and go. You can also split off and do a second unit. And typically the second unit on a film race will be very skeletal. It'll typically be just a DP with the camera, or a DP and maybe a grip to help with a light or something like that. Some of the bigger shoots we've had where you can just have someone dedicated to be at home base and you're sending them footage throughout the day, so when you step off the set and you're sweaty and you just want to have a beer and relax, you can then have kind of a first cut to watch if someone's been editing as you go. Our two biggest crews were Distilled, which was around 25, and Denouement hit around 35.
That's including extras, but
yes,
we had a fair amount of extras on that. If we're talking about just the crew and not the cast, when we went out filming a lot of one day, it was just 3 of us. And our baby was with us too. She was 7 weeks old. She said she wasn't real helpful. But we
Lazy. Don't put babies on your set. They don't
no,
do
but
anything.
I remember we used her stroller to carry a lot of the equipment while she was in it. Yes, it would have been nicer to have a slightly bigger crew for that one.
Containment was also filmed during the pandemic. We got it done, but we definitely felt the fatigue afterwards of having been not only the people that filmed it, but also we all built the tent and lit the tent, and it was a lot of physical work.
If this is your first year doing a film race, you probably want to keep your crew a little bit smaller until you've really figured out if you can handle a bigger crew and what roles you're going to find truly necessary on your set.
Yeah, we find 6 to 8 is probably a good place to start because it gives you enough leeway to where you can hand off responsibilities, but also get a rotation going on things like the edit or on the shoot. Once you get below that, it is you don't get a break at all, and you have to keep going until it's over.
Yeah, you're going to be completely wiped by the end of it, but that's part of the fun of it is that it's this
it is like a
this
foot race,
marathon.
yeah.
It's this marathon that you end up you have to push through, and you'll learn a lot along the way. And that'll help you for next time. Our first movie was terrible. Our second movie was better, but not great.
It was terrible in a different way.
But our third movie was also okay.
But our fourth movie was pretty good.
Pretty good, yeah. Our fifth movie was where it really clicked in, I think. Well, thanks for watching. Please do consider liking and subscribing, as that really helps us out. And we'll see you next time.
Goodbye.